There. Today we're going to do a short little class for tight hamstrings. And the reason I want to look at this is because tight hamstrings can actually increase sensitivity in your low back, and they can increase the risk of having knee pain. And so just doing these couple little simple things can help us feel a little bit better in our low back, feel a little bit better in our knees. So we're going to start with a test. So you're going to stand parallel, feet pelvis width apart. You put your hands around your rib cage so you have a good sense of how your waist is feeling, how long your waist is. And then you're going to imagine you have a little walnut between the top of your pelvis and your thighs, and you're going to hinge forward, imagining that you could crunch that walnut. Now, I want you to keep an eye on your back. So it's not this. That's me moving my back, not moving at the hip. So you want to think, okay, I'm coming forward from the top of the hip. And do you actually have a sense of the muscles on the back of the leg? So you want to feel like it is your bum and the backs of your thighs lowering your pelvis forward. So we have a good sense of how that feels. Now, I'm going to get you to sit down and take a strap. Put the strap around the thigh side of your knees. So you want to have it such that there's about a fist width between your knees, about a fist width between your big toes. So you can see, and always check in with your feet. Make sure that they are actually pointing straight ahead and that they are actually parallel. I'm going to put the hands on the knees and do just a couple little pelvic tilts. You're going to rock your pelvis back and then rock your pelvis forward. Rock your pelvis back, rock your pelvis forward. I want to notice, can I do that easily? Can I slouch a little bit? And then can I create a little bit of a lumbar arch? So we're going to stop, again, thinking about those walnuts in the front of the pelvis. So trying to crunch the walnut between the top of the pelvis and the thigh bone, pulling your pelvis forward. Let your belly relax. Let your arms relax. You're going to press out and relax. Press out, relax. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, press out just a little bit. And this is a little tricky. Again, we want to think about that walnut between the top of the pelvis and the femur. Now you're trying to crack it from the bottom up. So you're trying to pull your heels up off the floor by engaging your hip flexors and then lower down. So you're pulling up, lowering down. And we should feel this coming more from the hip than from the foot or ankle. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Relax. Now take the strap off. You can set that aside. And then you're going to put a stack of blocks between your knees. If you have a yoga brick, you'd use a yoga brick on its middle side. You know, set that block between your knees. Same thing. We're going to think top of the pelvis tips forward. Let your belly relax, let your arms relax. Check in with your feet. They're parallel, they're pointing straight ahead. When you squeeze the blocks, relax. Squeeze, relax. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now squeeze in. And then you're thinking about pulling up again, sort of crunching that walnut from the bottom up and lowering down. Pull up, lower down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now set your blocks aside, stand up, and we might immediately notice our hips feel a little bit different. So we're going to retest that hip hinge. You're going to hinge forward and come up. And some of us are going to notice the hinge is easier now. And again, you're thinking about that walnut, cracking the walnut coming up. So this is our hamstrings allowing the pelvis to tip forward. So if that's feeling pretty good, you're like, okay, I got that. I can keep my knees pretty straight. Now we are going to load this range of motion. And the loading of the range of motion, not only will it stretch our hamstrings or make them feel longer, it's also going to strengthen the hamstrings and our lower back. So you're going to find a weight, and you have to kind of discover a weight that's appropriate for you. It's going to be just in front of your toes. You're going to reach down and pick the weight up. And then it's just lower. And you'll notice I'm not lowering all the way to the floor. I'm just kind of lowering halfway and coming all the way up. And we want to think about that slow lower down, feel the hamstrings working, and come back up. Now, ideally, you're doing like maybe 10 of these, or depending on your weight, you're doing this until the muscles of the back of the leg and the bum feel a little bit tired. And we want to find a weight that feels appropriate for our low back, appropriate for our hands and shoulders. And while you're doing this, you think about, okay, when would I use this in real life? I lean forward, I pick up a small child. I lean over, I pick up my groceries. Like, we use this range of motion countless times a day. It's a great thing to practice. It's a great range of motion to build strength in. So you're going to set that down after you've done enough. Set that down, stand up. And if you're not lightheaded, just close your eyes for a moment. Observe where there's increased circulation. And then again, after adding the load, we can hinge forward. And this third time around, we might even notice that we're a little bit more flexible. The ground is a little bit closer. There's less tendency to want to bend the knees. Just all of those things. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes, and we'll see you next time.